business too. So this will be the items that were presented to us prior to cutoff period for tonight's meeting, and then we have a few more that we'll speak to in new business. But let's go through that. These are overnight trips to FAA, the state convention, Futures Farmer Convention. That's overnight trip. Am I correct on that? Is that dual?
Yes, that's for one student, and FFA they do a good job of putting these together for the year. So if they make these competitions, they want to go ahead and have the approval ready to go. So they have 6 trips that they have proposed, and one of those is for a student to go to a camp overnight in Doyle. They have a regional camp there. So these are either overnight or out-of-state trips, which require board approval, of which there are 6.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
just so
sir.
you know, it is a long way from Sparta to Dole.
That's true.
You know,
Especially
it's an overnight trip.
It's the overnight. It's not the distance on that one that needs board approval.
you need to spend the night there to take in the whole experience. Camp Clements, I missed that Camp Clements thing. All right. So those overnight field trip requests are specifically for the FFA. Any questions on that? Okay, then next item under consent would be approving of the testing coordinators. And I think that's something we do annually. So I think that's policy 4701. So I think you're bringing forward Dr. Butcher and Ms. Ryan to serve as coordinators, testing coordinators for this year. Okay, so we do that annually. That just needs board approval. So those individuals or ladies are being brought forward. Any questions regarding the approval of those testing coordinators? Okay, if not, I'm going to bounce back up to maintenance report. And so, Mr. Drawbarger, Mr. Alley, I'll let you gentlemen speak to that. We've got a couple items that we want to cover.
All right, Mr. Alley, if you would, if you don't mind, come to the microphone, and I'll let you introduce our guest here in just a moment. But and I'll let him speak to any specifics. I have a few items that I'll address in my director's report, but Mr. Alley can speak to the things that his team has been working on this summer and where they are right now. So you'll have to press that button, Mr. Alley, on the microphone behind the screen there, and it turns green.
There it is.
All right, there you go. Thank you.
All right. We did really well this summer. Mr. McDonald asked, "You think we can get all of this done?" Whenever I presented before. Truthfully, the only thing that we didn't get done was the carpeting at the middle school in Northfield. And it wasn't that we didn't get to it. No one bid on it. So we're going to try to put that out for bid again, and hopefully around Christmas, maybe put that out for bid and try to do it over summer break for next year. So it wasn't that we didn't try, it just didn't work. Everything else looked done real well. Dole got started on time. We still got a little bit of dirt down there that we need to pick up, but other than that, we're looking good in all locations, and we're actually keeping up with most of the air conditioning problems right now, which is crazy with this weather as hot as it is. So we've done real well. I was just looking through some of the assessments that CMTA did, and a lot of those things where I looked at it and they wrote them as problems, we went ahead and started fixing. So so some of the things you're going to hear tonight we've already addressed. So I worked a lot with Rissa, and she's been my contact with CMTA, and are you going to be doing the presenting? Okay, and I am sorry I forgot your name. Jason, but we've had a lot of back and forth. They came up here, what'd y'all spend, 2 weeks or week and a half or something like that? And brought a big crew of people, and they all went to different places, and they stuck an extension ladder in the back of a Honda pickup truck. and it looked really redneck. So, but it's been interesting. I have enjoyed seeing what they found. I think you're going to like what they found, and maybe we can move on from here. So I'm going to give it over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason Poland. I'm our team lead of our Nashville and Chattanooga offices with CMTA. Reese is going to take most of this. We're both licensed professional engineers here in the state. We're both service project managers. Reese is the one that did the deep dive here. I'm just going to kind of quickly introduce who we are and why we're here. Reese is going to handle the utility summary, talk about the existing conditions of the buildings, and then opportunities that are available, especially focused on energy savings and reducing the cost of your utility bills, and then how an implementation process might look. So CMTA, we're a nationally recognized MEP design firm. These are kind of some of our vital statistics. Almost 1,600 employees, 55 offices, including the Nashville and Chattanooga offices I just mentioned. We're very heavily weighted towards professional engineers, and we consider ourselves the nation's leader in high-performance facilities. And that's not, and when we say high-performance facilities, we mean really efficient, energy-efficient buildings that save a lot of money on your utility bills and also reduce maintenance costs and make the jobs of people like Randy a little bit easier. But it's not just kind of us boasting there and saying we're the leader. On the right are kind of some of our awards and publications we've been in. The one I think I'm most proud of is the one at the top right. Actually, that one's office buildings. It actually got covered up by some of the other awards. We stacked awards on there. But it's called the Advanced Energy Design Guide. It was put together by the Department of Energy, the American Institute of Architects, a bunch of third-party industry organizations and government organizations. So it's very much an objective view. And they asked for 6 case studies on how to design really high-performance K-12 school buildings globally. So out of the hundreds of submissions they got from thousands of MEP firms, 3 of the 6 they selected were CMTA projects. So when it comes to pedigree, when it comes to really understanding how to design buildings, we really believe that we're the best. So why are we here? Just at the highest level, we're here to help improve the performance of your buildings. But more specifically for you guys, it's because you released an RFQ and you were looking for energy-related services for the purpose of finding energy cost reductions. That scope, and you selected us, obviously we're here. And the scope of work included facility audits and an audit report, and that's what we're here today, is to kind of present the findings of that report. And then the potential for additional services as requested. So we'll kind of circle back to that at the end on what those additional services could be, how you might consider going about procuring them, what kind of opportunities there are with your buildings. But for now, we're going to focus on that energy report. I just want to, we're going to try to be brief because we know you have a lot of stuff going on and you got the public meeting coming up. But please don't take that as an indication of what went into this. So the report that was turned over to Randy is, you remember how many hundreds of pages it was? It's a lot. It's somewhere over 300 pages when you include appendices. So a lot of time and effort and a ton of detail went into it that'll hopefully be helpful to Randy in helping plan out future work, for future improvements, kind of where you can focus your time and your resources best, while also considering what the payback of those changes will be. So I'll let Risa take it, and I don't know, you got the clicker.
Yay!
There you go.
Yeah, I can go ahead and start with what we did on the audit. So how we start all of our facilities assessments is we do a utility analysis. So we take bills from the last 3 years from your gas and electric providers, and we get annual averages of your utility expenses at every school and building. In total, we surveyed 16 facilities, so this is all of your main school buildings, but it's also buildings like the Ford, Motlow State utilities are under y'all at one community college location, field houses, things like that, to get an overall idea of performance district-wide. And then we also, from there, identify energy savings opportunities. We look for rooms and areas where the buildings could be improved or your energy, again, could be reduced. And then from there, we'll recommend upgrades and put together the full audit report, which Randy has if anybody wants any further detail on a specific school or building. So jumping into that utility summary, again, this is 3 years of data compiled. And so the annual expenses the district pays across the board is roughly $912,000 per year, and that includes electric, water, and gas charges. Most of that is electric. That's pretty common to what we see here across the board. You guys do have some gas-fired equipment, and then water charges, and then a lot of y'all schools are on septic. And then energy use intensity per utility type on the right, your district-wide average is 38.5, most of that coming from electric use again. But jumping more into what does that mean? How do we put that in the context of this assessment? What is EUI? So as I mentioned, that's energy usage intensity, and it's a way that we can compare buildings in an apples-to-apples format and tell really which ones are the most efficient and which are the least efficient. And so that is a measure of the total energy use a building uses per year divided by its square footage. And the lower in energy usage intensity is, the better the school is performing, since you're using less overall. So it's I kind of compare it to imagining the miles per gallon on your car. Toyota Corolla is going to be better than a diesel truck. So this is just a metric to compare how much energy you're using in each building. District-wide, we have all the buildings on this chart. It might be kind of small to read, but again, we can get those blown up in the report. And the highest energy user is actually this building, the Board of Education, per square foot, and the lowest is White County Middle School. And then your district-wide average is 38.5, it's that yellow bar. But you'll also see the orange bar, which is the average regional K through 12 school, and that sits at a 41. So all that to say, you guys are performing better than average, consuming less energy than average to keep your facilities running and the AC on even in this hot weather. And that is a big kudos to Randy and the control systems that he's implemented also. And we'll get more into that. But overall, across the board, that's a great EUI. That said, we do have a line there where our projects can end up post-renovation, and it's that green bar at the bottom, 28. And so that's just to show that there's always room to improve and lower your energy use if you want to implement anything additional. But all in all, it was a great survey, and it told us a lot of information about the facilities themselves. Then we walk the facilities, we assess all the major systems, the HVAC, the lighting, the controls, the building envelope, the roofs. We note certain conditions, and this is a deep dive on Woodland Park, and we have building profiles prepared for every facility, but for the interest of time, I'll just show this overview slide where you can see the breakdown of how we divided up the ages of the equipment, what's the HVAC type, we get an idea of how old everything is, and for Woodland Park specifically, noting humidity and some unconditioned spaces, it's hard to control certain room temperatures. That's a result of the original HVAC system pipe put in, being 2-pipe. So I could go on and on about this, but we did this for every facility and have the pictures all lined out in a nice report. This helps us get an idea. It merges really well with the data itself from the utility company to understand why the building is performing how it is. So district-wide, if I were to compile everything into one slide that gives the site observations points high level, the source HVAC, your boilers, your chillers are in good condition. Those are the big ticket mechanical equipment items. You've got a lot of life remaining on those. Terminal HVAC, that is anything that's distributing air at the end of the line, so that might be unit ventilators, fan coils. That is it's aging and past useful life, but still running, and that again is a major testament to the maintenance team and their ability to keep up with it and repair parts as they fail. And we'll get a little more into this on the next slide. There's varying temperature controls capabilities. Some buildings, you have visibility off campus. Online, you can see exactly what temperature a room is remotely and do setbacks when people aren't there. But some buildings you can't. There's also room for improvement in the controls, deadbands, and setbacks. Maybe Randy's been working on that since the report. And then across the board, piecemeal HVAC systems, meaning just several different HVAC system types per facility. But this is kind of what we would expect to see given how the buildings have been expanded over time. It's hard to keep a totally uniform HVAC system. And I'm sure the maintenance team knows how to care for and maintain each different type that you guys have. Then we put together what's called a red, yellow, green chart. And this is all based on ASHRAE equipment median life expectancies. So every piece of equipment has a certain expected lifespan. For example, your typical house DX unit is 15 to 20 years. And what this chart allows us to do is see where we are at in that time frame and approximately when can we expect the item to fail. So this chart includes cooling, heating, terminal units, outdoor air lighting, controls. And green items are items that have a lot of life left. You won't need to think about replacing them for a long time or failing. Yellow is approaching median life within 5 years. And then red is at or exceeding that expected lifespan. And so again, this is a testament to Randy and the team's ability to keep the equipment up and running despite its age. It's really incredible. And so this can be used as a roadmap to start thinking about if you want to upgrade or plan ahead and think about the deferred maintenance and if there's going to be a potential mass failure at some point, where to start with that financial planning.
And the red here, it represents the median useful life. So it doesn't mean like as soon as something turns red, it's going to fail the next day. But what it means is that you're going to start seeing accelerated failures as that equipment gets older and older, right? Like you can have a really reliable car, you can ride it for 200,000 miles. If you do proper maintenance, you can keep it running. But eventually, it's going to start failing. You're going to hit, more of the bigger ticket components are going to start to fail. And you're going to reach a point where you're going to be spending more money to maintain an old car or an old HVAC system than it would to start thinking about replacing it in part or in whole. But yeah, some of the age of some of this equipment and the fact that Randy does have it operating so reliably, you can tell it's been maintained well. But eventually, father time kind of comes for us all. So there's only so long that a 30-year-old unit ventilator is going to continue to run realistically.
And lighting across the board, y'all have converted to LED. That is a big win, and that is part of why your EUI, your energy usage index, is so low across the district. It's a big energy consumer to have fluorescents. And then on the controls on the right here, you can see that varying degree of some schools only having local thermostats and other buildings having pretty robust systems like the ALC and the Reliable. And those are definitely a valuable investment because while controls drift, as we call it, can happen over time and settings in those can change. And if people aren't monitoring them, it can cause energy use to go up. They're really easy to reset and tweak and add new units onto those control systems. And it really, I know it makes your life easier to see what's going wrong before you're even on site at the unit that might be causing an error, or to set back in the summer. With that, the summary of some opportunities that you could pursue for energy savings conservation measures. Retro commissioning is a big one. Given y'all's low EUI, there is a little opportunity still with the current control systems to just refine, tune, adjust the set points, have good setbacks in place, have summer turning off outside air units, things like that to really continue to lower the energy usage overall. There's also Wi-Fi thermostats that could be implemented at schools with less complicated systems so you can see remotely and still do those setbacks when you're away. And then other things that you could pursue are deferred maintenance equipment swaps, holistic renovations, and then remainder of the LED lighting upgrades. I know there was one on this campus specifically that could be consuming excess energy. With that said, we are turnkey, and so I categorized all of these into different kind of selections, but our whole message today is what you want to improve, we can help you do it. It's really up to you if you want to implement low-cost improvements to just keep reducing that energy, or if you wanted to focus funds on starting to replace some of the older aging equipment. Randy also mentioned there was the White County High School expansion in concept. Design is something, as Jason mentioned, that we're experts at. We can partake in that. Adding AC and ventilation to the basement here. Basically, your options are endless, and our philosophy as a whole is it's your project. Whatever you want to do, we are here to help consult and work you through it. And we have these certain points that don't change regardless. And that is, it's your project. We're constantly meeting together. We don't sell any products. We're not a manufacturer. There's no incentive for us to get you to use a certain vendor for anything. We work with local subcontractors, and you've already selected us, so we're here to help. But that said, it's all about whatever you want.
Yeah, so that takes us back to why we're here. And I said we'd come back to the potential for additional services as requested. When y'all put out this RFQ, there was wisdom in how y'all did that, in that it left it open-ended. So you've already selected us as your energy services provider. So now, and there's no timeline on it. It doesn't have to. You don't have to tell us within a certain date what you would like to do. It doesn't have to be a fully funded from savings energy project. It doesn't have to be anything. You can decide whatever energy related scope that you would like to consider moving forward. We don't require any funds or obligation to get started. You would just simply have to point us in the right direction and say what you want to accomplish. Now, if you say, yeah, we want to go with a holistic renovation of a large building and we're going to go ahead and get started on the design, at that point, we'll just ask for like a letter of intent to make sure we're all clearly aligned on what the expected outcome is, just so we don't exhaust a lot of resources and bring you the wrong rock. You've left the way you set up the RFQ and the procurement. We're basically at your service on however you would like to see your buildings improved, your HVAC systems renovated, any energy reduction opportunities you'd like to pursue. All y'all need to do is let Randy know and let us know, and we can get to work, even if it's a budgeting exercise to help you understand what you need to be looking out for a year, 2 year, 5 years down the road. We want to support you in whatever way we can to be able to be your partner in whatever building design, renovation, and HVAC needs you have in the coming years. I think that's it, and we can take any questions you might have.
All right. Thank you, Jason, and I'm sorry, Reese. Risa, I'm sorry, Risa. I like to thank Mr. Alley. You brought this to us about a year ago. We had worked through how we got here, but I think this is, we're in the business about giving report cards. I think this gives a report card on our maintenance department. Well done. That's just that's really amazing and impressive. So I appreciate the hard work. Board members, do y'all have any questions on this report and any thoughts about how we might want to move forward with this?
I do have one question, Mr. Chair, and this may be for Mr. Alley and Mr. Markham. This RFQ process that they're talking about, is this something that will help us in the design of new buildings in the future or additions, like what we're doing at the high school, will that help with the architectural cost and anything that's involved in the design of those new additions, whether it be at this building or the high school or wherever? With us selecting them as this firm, will that help us in the process of the lower cost on designs? And I guess maybe y'all can, I don't know if that's
Yeah, I can probably take that. And if you're adding additional square footage where you're going to have to engage an architect, it wouldn't fall under this procurement, but we would be happy to give you our feedback on what type of systems to consider or how to go about controlling that. And once you get to a point where you're ready to get started with design, we partner with architects all the time to provide the MEP design there. So we
I
can
guess
consult.
I guess I was just looking towards the future. I didn't know what our plans are in the next little while. So I was just making sure that the next board was well prepared.
Yes, sir.
Don't want to speak out of turn, but I think we have, we've secured their services as a advisor. In some extent, we've come in and done specific analysis on our facilities. So, understanding you can help us walk out any projects. It'd be our determination whether or not on what direction we would proceed. Obviously, it would come as recommended from staff. That would be for existing facilities. If we were in a situation where we wanted to do a new project, new construction, then while you might not be the architectural firms that would design that out, you could also continue our agreement still allows you to walk with us along to make sure that the scope of the project, how that's outfitted, aligns with what we're doing right now. Is that?
Yes, sir.
I think that's what you're wanting to get at.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would continue to consult and advise and help steer the MEP systems, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection, HVAC, all of that, until you get to the point of moving to design for a new facility or a new wing of a building.
Yeah.
And then anything with existing facilities, we can work within the current RFQ.
Which, honestly, that's a huge part of our maintenance efforts is what's already here. Mr. Stromberg?
Yes, I was going to say, first of all, I feel like I should be wearing a red shirt because I too am aging and past useful life, but still running. But I want to say I've done some research on, just some cursory research on just these types of firms, and if you do so, you'll find CMTA is the top of just about every list, and so nationally, and so they do very good work. Board members, I have shared with you again tonight the 350-page report that they've narrowed down for you this evening, and it's really interesting. It's a good read. If you don't want to read every 350 page of that report, there's lots of summaries in there that can lead you to the things that you're most interested in. I find it interesting. It makes sense that this building is our highest energy usage. It's our oldest building, old windows that we didn't invest a lot of money into it when we just moved in, and so that makes a lot of sense. What also is it's interesting and disappointing is that Finley, our newest building, is second in energy usage. So that's a little disappointing. But nevertheless, this does give us a road back. Just to explain where we are, we had a good idea. Randy and his team has done a great job of monitoring our current systems. We had a good idea where we wanted to go next, but we felt like it was time for someone else to come in, like CMTA, and put eyes on our systems and say, here's really what the data shows. And so that's what you have before you is the data. And so at your leisure, just ask you to take a look at that, and when you're prepared, board, to come back and say, we think this is our next direction, and I think CMTA stands ready to help us make that step.
Would a step be to look at each of our 16 facilities and get recommendations on what we should do, or has that been done?
So within that report are recommendations for
So
each
it's
facility.
okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And there, like Risa mentioned at the beginning, there's essentially infinite variations of each option. So it's kind of we've kind of provided you a lengthy menu just to give you an idea of kind of what's available. And then depending on right, we might identify something based on its age and its energy use, but Randy might have data on, hey, it's this other building where we're getting a lot more comfort complaints, or that stuff's just breaking more quickly. So you have your perspective as well. That's why I always say it's your project. We're here to help execute it. So if you come back and say, hey, this is really our problem child, and this is the budget we think we're working with, then we can help kind of sift through that 350 pages and say, here is what our recommendation would be as far as what gives you the biggest bang for the buck, that's going to reduce the maintenance cost the most, and that's going to reduce the energy cost the most, or reduce the comfort complaints the most, within your priorities, your budget, your schedule. That's another big one, where you might have space constraints at a building, or trying to change use of a space. So there's lots of variables there. We've given you a lot, and then we just need a little kind of fine tuning, and we can come back and give an updated report that's more narrow. If you let us know it's a specific building that's the problem, or maybe it's really controls that are our focus, and we can come back and fine tune this and give you more granular details on proposed costs, proposed savings, proposed schedule, and all that. Yes, sir.
Mr. Alley.
Something that they show on the report, fresh air entering the building. We are probably below standard on fresh air entering the building. That's supposed to help student academic. So, one of these days the board might say, hey, we want to focus on getting fresh air into all our buildings. Then that's when I go to them and give me a plan for this. What does this look like? And they can even engineer that. So that's the.
Just like our report had a lot of pages, our slide deck also has like 70 additional slides that we hid. There's one that we have on that point. It's an excellent point. Yeah, since buildings were designed, some of these buildings were 20, 30 years old. There's a lot of studies that have been done that measure the effects of fresh ventilation air coming into buildings, the effect of built up CO2 in the learning environment, and fresh air intake along with good lighting and good temperature control has a measurable impact on student retention, student test scores, standardized test scores, number of absences. So the built environment is very impactful to, here it comes, to the built environment, meaning our buildings, is a very impactful, or is very impactful to the actual learning environment as well. But considering outside air in a design can help address humidity issues, mold, which can be a problem, freeze protection if you've ever had burst pipes. It also addresses the energy that we talked about, CO2, and student performance. So, yep, that's an excellent point.
So just one last point for me. I don't know if any other board members have anything, but Mr. Alley, if you, in our agreement with the firm, if you were going to try to do a proactive project, and you want to get a second opinion on something that's covered in our agreement, or for a small fee for the engineering services if needed. If you needed to do something you were going to try to do internally or do within our system, but you needed some drawings to work from, you guys could provide that as part of the project.
So yeah, if you needed,
if it's existing.
If you wanted an engineer design done for any of these systems, that's the only part where I said we'd want to maybe just an LOI in place to ensure that.
Okay, so it's not covered in our existing agreement. It would be additional fees for service.
Right, this is,
Okay.
we've done this at risk, yeah. So there's been no, that's what, all of what we do up until the point of developing a design and delivering a construction project, we're doing at risk. So
Okay,
we do
all
that
right,
based on
okay.
our belief that we can develop a partnership and help y'all for the long term.
Okay, all right, we'll circle back to that. Mr. Alley, I think we'd just be relying on you to say, give a proposal on where you think we go next. Board members, you've got the information, the report. Thank you very much for putting that together. Obviously, very comprehensive and informative. So, and so now we know we accomplished what we set out to do last year. Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Drumberger, I'd like for you to speak. There's one more item on our consent, and that's update on North Spring Street sign.
Yeah, just briefly, just to clear up any confusion, there are two signs that were in that conversation. The tallest sign, which is the first one I thought we were discussing, which is actually the sign for the Career Academy, the old Food Line building. That is not the sign that is in conversation with the dentist office. The tall sign that goes to Career Academy does need to be addressed at some point. I'll get some numbers on that and for you to see. We want to make that look nice, and we'll have some conversation about what that will say. The other sign, which is the existing high school digital sign, it's on the corner of North Spring and Breeding Drive. The dentist has an interest in partnering with us and somehow incorporating his sign into that sign. Maybe some sort of planner at the bottom with his sign at the bottom with ours existing. And that partnership, the benefit of that is we wouldn't have to move our sign as it's technically on his property. So we're in discussions right now. Where I left that is he was going to talk to his architects. They were going to draw up some things and show it to me. And then I'll come back to you with that, and we'll come to some sort of agreement.
All right, thank you, Mr. D. Board members, any other questions regarding any item on our consent agenda or anything that we need to consider moving into our regular meeting? Going once. All right, so we'll adjourn our work session and we'll reconvene for our regular meeting at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
I was just gonna put up our logo. I think it looks nice. I wonder if she left that. What? I think it looks nice to have the
All right, this is your 2-minute warning. Start a regular meeting in 2 minutes. All right, this time I'd like to call the August 13th meeting of the White County School Board to order. Board members, recently passed legislation by the state of Tennessee. Public Chapter 710 allows us to open the meeting with a prayer by member. So without objection, would you please allow me to start a meeting with prayer?
Absolutely.
No objection. Let's pray. Father, thank you for a wonderful day, a wonderful community, and the opportunity to serve. Father, we pray for the start of our school year. We pray for the students, the teachers, administrators that will be doing their best to provide education. We pray that you help that flourish, and it can help the students of this community in preparing them for the road ahead. Father, pray that you'll watch over the difficulties and in challenging situations and be present there. But Father, we ask for wisdom and guidance for our administrators and our teachers and our staff as we try to serve in a way that promotes the good of our community. We offer this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you. This time I'd like to welcome everyone here. If you would, please rise, and I'm going to ask Mr. Jason McDonald to lead us in our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald, and would again like to appreciate all the members of the public, the staff, for being present tonight. Board members, as you take time out of your busy schedule to come and take care of the business of our district. Before we consider approving tonight's agenda, just please be advised of the following. Tennessee Statute and Board Policy 1400 state that every meeting of the board shall be open to the public except where law allows for a closed session. Board meeting agendas are posted on the district's website at www.whitecoastschools.net, and the agendas are posted at least 3 days prior to each meeting. Public Acts of 2023, Chapter number 300, and Board Policy 1404 states that each board meeting shall include an agenda item reserved for public comment, as well as the conditions under which those wishing to comment will be recognized. A sign-up sheet has been made available prior to the beginning of each regular meeting for those wishing to speak. Individuals who have signed up prior to the start of our regular meeting who wish to speak during the portion of the agenda of the meeting will be recognized in order listed on the sign-up sheet at the designated time for public comment. Public comments may consist of agenda items as well as matters that are relevant to the White County Board of Education's jurisdiction. Per policy, the allotted time for public comment will be 30 minutes, and each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. Delegations select only one individual to speak on their behalf unless otherwise determined by the board. It should not be expected that the board would take up any matter brought up during public comment during tonight's meeting unless it was an agenda item. The public is encouraged to reach out to the representative with questions or comments about district matters. Board meetings are streamed with the help of our central office technology staff for live or recorded viewing. Links are provided at the district's website. Attending and/or speaking during tonight's meeting applies consent for comments and appearances to be used. So before we consider tonight's agenda, does anyone on the board have a conflict of interest of any item that we're considering on our agenda tonight?
Mr. Chairman, for one final time in the last 12 years, I'm going to state that I have no conflict with anything on our agenda tonight, but my wife is an educator in our system, and the opinions that you hear from me tonight are mine and mine alone and are in the best interest of this district, the students, and the staff.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald.
Chairman, I do not have a conflict, but my husband is employed by the district. So again, the thoughts and opinions I express are mine and mine alone.
Thank you, Ms. Officer.
Mr. Chairman, my wife is an employee at the high school, but like my colleagues, the thoughts and opinions I will share are mine and mine alone. Excuse me, my esteemed colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. For another 55 minutes. You wear it out, Mr. McDonald. Ms. Sims, please let the minutes reflect that Mr. McDonald, Ms. Officer, and Mr. Smith all indicated they have staff working for the district, but however, nothing on tonight's agenda would constitute a conflict for them. So with that, appreciate that disclosure. The next item is approving the agenda item for our meeting tonight. So, board members, the agenda was posted to you prior to the meeting. As we stated, just keep in mind we do have 7 new business items that were added recently, and they were not able to make that came in after we posted the agenda, and so please note those are in new business. So consider that when you in your decision to approve tonight's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion, and I just have a quick question first. We had talked about in our maintenance or in our work session about line item number 2 on the policy report, foregoing second reading on the administrative report. Does that need to be included in this motion to approve this agenda with the line item 2 in B as a foregoing second reading?
I'm going to say no, because board members to get an opportunity to express whether or not that was if we did not have consent on that, and it was determined that that was in consent. So I'll make note of that when we get to the consent agenda. But I do appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
Have a motion to approve the agenda. To have a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Fowler. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next is our consent agenda. Consent agenda was posted as part of our regular meeting agenda for tonight, which consisted of budget report, maintenance report, budget amendments and transfers, personnel report, threat assessment, TNL report. We had fundraiser requests. We did not have fundraising requests as was posted on the agenda because there were none. There were 6 field trip requests for FFA in preparation to anticipated travel, and then testing coordinators for the 26-27 school year. Those were agenda items. Along with that was the approval of our board meeting minutes from July, and then policy report. Policy report on second reading. We will be approving 2200, 4100, 4300, 5104, 5501, 5600, 6301, 6304, 63041. And as it was noted, there was a clerical change in policy 1603, the annual administrative report, and that was a slight change there to push that back in our policy from that being an August activity to a November activity, and that was considered clerical, which, as Mr. McDonald noted, would be foregoing second reading. So those are items that were included in consent agenda. Those copies were provided to you board members in advance of tonight's meeting. Does any member wish to remove an item for separate discussion? Okay, if not, and there's no objection, the consent agenda will be adopted unanimously as presented. So that takes us to the next item on our agenda, and that would be the recognition. We have a special presentation. We have a visitor here with us tonight. That's Jill Pierce, Executive Director of TETA, and that's Tennessee, I lost my cheat note here, Tennessee Educational Technology Association. Is that correct? All right, thank you.
Most people just calls us TETA because they don't want to say that long name, so we're good if you can do that.
Well, I just needed one more thing to fumble through tonight, so I figured I'd try to.
Good evening. Thank you for Director Jones Barger to give us access to your board meeting and you guys agreeing to it. Chairman Young and distinguished board meeting, I am here to give you good news. There's no bad news coming for me tonight. As our organization has been doing learning and tech for over 30-something years. We work with the TOSS organization. We put on the two biggest EdTech events. We work with data privacy in schools, which has become even more important about making sure that any tools that we use with kids, including cafeteria software, the things we forget about. Everybody thinks it's always the learning tools in the classroom, but it's those day-to-day tools too, student management. And the person that does that, you already know her name pretty well, but she actually got another award just recently. She was picked by her peers in Middle Tennessee for Member of the Year in Middle Tennessee. And it's picked by a lot of the CTOs. I'm sorry, I've been driving for a couple of hours. And part of that is because of leadership like you as a board and your director and the thing. Sometimes being a former CTO myself in a county system in East Tennessee, sometimes people forget us county people can do it right too. And we hire good people and we want to recognize our kids and we want to recognize our sports, but we also want to recognize those people behind the scene, our administrators and the ones that work at central office and those people that do the day-to-day that parents don't see anything. So Ashley won, but I do want to read a couple of things. She's going to hate this, but I've gotten to know her pretty well the last few years, and I'm not going to miss an opportunity. I won't take up too much of your time because I know board meetings need to go, but since her mama's here and her family and all that, I'm going to embarrass her and do it on purpose. Ashley consistently represents the very best of White County schools. She's a passionate advocate for students, teachers, and innovative learning opportunities. Through her leadership and willingness to share her knowledge and dedicate to supporting others, she's made a lasting impact not only in this school district, but across Tennessee and the technology community as a whole. People listen when Ashley talks. She doesn't say a lot, but when she does speak, people listen. I always laugh at that old, and I'm aging myself, that OEF Hutton commercial, you know? But she has professionalism and vision, and she really, like I said, represents some of the best of what you have here in White County and the leadership that you guys give her every day, and that's a direct response. So the Middle Tennessee TETA Member of the Year goes to Ashley Russ. And I would be amiss not to say one thing, because I have been around for a while, but she, as you know, she is a finalist for Supervisor of the Year. If I'm not mistaken, she's the first ever Supervisor of Technology that's ever made it to the finals in that designation. And so I'm pretty sure I'm right. I will say if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right there. So we also want to recognize that, but this was given to her from her peers. I told your director that she probably would have won our state award, but she is on our board and she can't win it.
While they're doing the picture taking, wow, congratulations, Miss Rust. We knew you were special here in our district, but it's also just wonderful to be recognized by your peers as well. That just speaks to the excellence in you and your profession, but also of all the good things going on here at White County, and our staff just performing excellence. But that's what we've come to expect. So congratulations. Board members, anybody want to comment?
It's simple. I guess every time we have a board meeting, one or more of us have some issue with our computer. She fixed mine today. She always has to fix Mr. McDonald, so that'll be a relief going forward. But congratulations, you represent all of us very well.
Mr. Russ, I'll say, and I'll echo what Mr. Smith said. I thank you for fixing me every time. And I want to echo something that Mr. Young said. Your mama said you were special when you were born. So your mother was one of my educators in school, so she did a pretty good job with all of us. So congratulations.
I just want to say I'm really excited for Ashley being in the finals as Supervisor of the Year in the state of Tennessee. I have nothing to do with this, but I'm certainly very proud of, in the past decade that I've been in this position, we've had a number of people from White County be finalists for those state awards. We've had at least 2 Teacher of the Year finalists. We've had a couple of Supervisor of the Year finalists. We've had Principal of the Year finalists, and so it says a lot. I would argue, I've not done the research, but I'd argue that we've probably had more finalists per capita than anybody in the state in the past decade. And so we have really good leadership in our supervisory positions and our principalships. I'm very proud of Ashley and wish her the best.
Anybody else have any comments? Stress, congratulations. We really do appreciate you, and you just thank you for representing our district well, and both inside our county and outside. Would you like to say anything? Just sit back there and make sure our computers are working, right? Awesome, thank you. All right, well, just another reason why White County Schools, the hottest district in the state. Just all the things that's going on here is just amazing. Next item on our agenda is approved plats for the volunteer fire departments at Bondycroft, Cassville, and Central View. Board members, as you know, we have worked in the past and made the decision that it is in the best interest of both the district and the county for us not to be a hindrance for anything, activities that might be taking place regarding firefighting for our counties, and that specifically engaging with the volunteer fire departments. So we went and had plats done. So those plats have been included in your packet. So Mr. Dromberger, I'll let you speak to update us on that.
Well, I want to first of all thank another great leader in our district, and that's our finance director, Mr. Chad Markham. We have gone back. He has gone back and searched the annals of history and found all the way back to 1979. Now we have documentation of when this decision probably should have happened. So it's about 50 years in the making that the county, I guess what am I trying to say? The county commissioners had decided, I guess at that time, that this land would be, once the fire halls were built on school property, that land would then be deeded to the county for the purposes of having a countywide fire department. So we found that documentation. He found that documentation and shared it with me. And so what we have before you are plats that have been drawn up to do just that. This will give the county government control of these particular plats of land and where the fire departments sit at Bondycroft, Cassville, and Central View. And then that will allow the county then to apply for grants and do work in the idea of having a countywide fire department. The lands are the land plat at Bondycroft is 1.08 acres. It's the largest because it grabs the helipad that's existing there. The others are about a half acre at the other two locations, and you have those plats before you. So it would be my recommendation to the board that we deed these lands to the county government for the purposes of the fire departments being able to seek funding and establish a countywide fire department as they see fit.
Thank you, Mr. Drombarger. So I think just for clarity for the public on what was mentioned, just go through and make sure that we understand that. And Mr. Markham is due credit for this. We're going back to a board meeting that took place on the 9th of August, 1979. So we are talking about almost 50 years ago. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, math. Almost 50 years ago, and the resolution was to permit the construction of county fire stations on property owned by the White County Board of Education. And I don't know, Mr. Markham, I mean, I can read this or you could read this, but I think it's relevant to be read. It says, White County has presently instituted a countywide fire protection system, and whereas White County is in need of properties on which to build fire stations for the county fire protective system, and whereas the Board of Education presently owns property located throughout the county, and whereas White County and the Board of Education recognize the need for countywide fire protection systems and further need for fire stations as part of that system. Now therefore be it resolved, the White County Board of Education as follows, that the right to build, erect, and maintain fire stations on property owned by the White County Board of Education is hereby granted to White County, Tennessee. Further deeds and other evidence of title shall be conveyed to White County, Tennessee prior to the building and completion of those fire stations upon the White County Board of Education property, and that no fire station shall be built on any property that would result in violation of Tennessee educational statutes and State Board of Regulations. That was a motion made by Mr. Teeples, Lewis Teeple, and Mr. Charles Bumbelow, and that was roll call vote passed 5-0. So I read that resolution, Mr. Markham. I'll let you explain it and correct me if I'm wrong. But the intent was the buildings were to be built on the property, and then once that took place, the property was then deeded back to the county. That's the way I read that.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. So, back during that time, they relied on the city of Sparta for fire protection, and so they were trying to get a system outside of the county, and so that's there was a fire board at that time and several different things, but that was the thought process, was to get individual stations in the communities where the community schools are. Made perfect sense. And so the board and the county commission then on the 20th of August of 1979 ratified that and incorporated that same resolution into their minutes. What it appears, based on my research, is the buildings were completed, obviously, and then they just didn't follow through and deed those off from the school board property.
So, board members, we'd be executing a resolution of agreement that was agreed to, that was almost 50 years ago by doing this, and that was the intent at the time, so we would be closing that loop now. So that's why we're here. Mr. Markham, thank you for doing the research and finding that. so the plats surveyed out, and basically Mr. Dornberger, you and Mr. Markham, y'all comfortable with how that platted out?
Yeah, the idea when they drew those was to get the necessary areas, but to not take more than was needed.
Okay.
And in some of the, the thought process being that really nothing's going to change as far as the function of what the school uses or what the fire department uses. It's really just cleaning up some paperwork and it's a better situation long term to have that in somebody beside the Board of Education's name, in my opinion.
We're not in the fire business, and we're obviously just carrying out what was intended back in '79.
Correct.
So,
One quick question, Mr. Chair, and looking at the one from Central View with the driveway there, that is a shared driveway, and that property looks to me like it goes through the center of that drive, but it does not include anything up within a certain distance of the school. Is that, I mean, that's nothing's going to change, like you said. It'll just all be
No,
maintained exactly the same way it's being maintained now.
Yeah, absolutely. And all three of these have to meet Planning Commission, the regulations of the Planning Commission, and so they'll have to go through Planning Commission approval. And you have to, because they're all within 1,000 feet of a fire hydrant, then we have to have 10 feet of side yard and rear yard setbacks on those. And so they've made sure those clearances are there. And in the Central View case, there's a parking and drive access easement for both parties on that parcel.
That's what I was making sure.
So,
Thank you.
all right, so board members, you've had a chance to review the plats and understand the reason why why this is being brought before us tonight. Any other questions about the matter? Okay, then I would entertain a motion for approval.
Wait, I do. I mean, I just got a question. So on Bondycroft, when they looked at it before, I think we had septic on them and they had gas on us, or the opposite way. Is that still the same? I was trying to blow it up and see it.
so there is on the
Sorry.
No.
I forget about the microphone.
on the Bondycroft plat,
Yeah.
the septic lines for the fire department, and that's a requirement on all three of these, is that the fill lines and the septic tank for each fire department be on that parcel. That's a Planning Commission requirement. But the septic area is located there on Bondycroft, and there is a gas line easement that goes to the school. You'll notice that shaded across there that kind of goes to on the north, along the western portion of the property. And that's how the gas is fed to the school there. So there is that easement noted, and that'll be noted on the plat as well and in the deeds.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the matter we're discussing?
I have a question, please. Is this gonna help with the situation with Bondycroft wanting to get those grants that they first came about? I mean, does this help them at all with it being in the county name versus the school name, the school board name?
I don't know. I guess it depends on the specific of the grant and the grant that was being applied for. I think it probably does make it cleaner if I was reviewing a grant and I saw it in a government's, the county government's name instead of the County Board of Education's name. But, so I can't speak to that 100%, but.
Okay, thank you.
I think I could be in favor of this, going to the county and not going to just the specific fire department itself, because that administration in those fire departments is going to change from time to time. The chief is not going to always be the chief at any of these fire halls. So I think with the county owning the property, I think I can see getting behind this. And like I said, we're just closing a loop from 47 years ago, and it seems to me like might be the right thing to do.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Markham, this is a minor detail, but is there also an easement on that sign at Bondycroft? Because I know we own the road sign, but it's powered by the electricity from the fire hall. Does that need to be a note added, or?
The sign will actually remain on school board property.
Correct.
It does show that electrical line going to the sign from the fire department, so that is noted.
Okay,
That is noted
perfect.
on there.
Thank you. I see it. I just didn't know if there needed to be a note added there as far as the supply of electricity.
Likely, yeah, we could add that.
Okay, thank you.
Miss Douglas, I actually spoke to Mr. Matt McBride about that same question you had, and he said that it should be fine with them getting the grants, putting it in the county's name.
Okay, board members, good discussion. Obviously, we don't want to be a hindrance to any quality fire protection going on in our county, so hopefully that this could remove us from being guilty of that. So, board members have before us 3 plats for approval to deed back over to the county. So we're approving the plats, and we've already made the decision that our intent is to deed those over to the county. So we are approving the plats. So this time I'd entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Smith. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. McDonald. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item on our agenda is our district update. Mr. Drumbarger.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first day of school officially was Tuesday, August 4th, and the year is off to a great start. We were concerned about the staggered start due to the election, but by all accounts, it provided schools and families with the ability to ease into the school year and was appreciated by most. Personnel reports are in your packet. We are fully staffed to start the school year and currently managing the normal ebb and flow of any staff changes. We're happy to welcome several new teachers and staff to our team. Ms. Griffith and Dr. Butcher host our new teachers each month to a specific new teacher training and support organization called TIPS, which stands for Teacher Individualized Plan of Support. So we're happy to have lots of new folks in our midst. Academically, our test scores from last year continue to matriculate in. Initial estimates are good, but our TVAS growth scores are estimated a little bit lower than last year. I'll remind you that growth is a comparative measure, so it does not automatically mean that we had a deficiency, but rather that it reflects our growth as compared to other like schools across the state. There'll be much more data in a report later to come this semester. Behaviorally, our RTI Squared 2AB group is implementing reward tickets across the district to encourage and reward good behavior. This is a revitalization of an existing program and a renewed effort to support positive behaviors in all of our schools. Each school is modeling the program to fit its needs, and there's even a version of these tickets for the director of schools called D-Dollars. These come with a higher value and can be redeemed at the schools for additional incentives. So we're excited that's coming back to life, and there'll be more to come on that. Funding-wise, White County High School is again applying for a $50,000 SPARK grant, which will come before the board for approval soon. SPARK stands for Supporting Post-Secondary Access in Rural Counties, and this initiative supports our CTE programs in economically distressed, at-risk, or transitional counties. They're going to acquire CTE equipment and provide more dual enrollment partnerships. And for the record, White County is currently listed as a transitional county. We're not at risk or economically distressed. Legislatively, the schools are adjusting to several new legal changes this year. We're now required to teach specific lessons on the 4th of July and the threat of communism, among others, and we're trying to adhere to about 80 other pieces of legislation that were filed to schools this legislative session. Athletically, fall sports are in full swing, but we're watching the heat index closely. There were practices and games and things that were adjusted today for that reason. Safety first. Building-wise, new bleachers have been installed at Cassville, and new bleachers are on the way for Woodland Park. A new roof has been installed at the WCHS football field press box and will be ready for kickoff next week. And finally, I'm happy to announce that Miss Ainsley Goff has been nominated to serve as the junior class representative to the White County School Board. Ainsley will join the school board meetings beginning in September, and we welcome her to join Miss Callie Odell and all of you here at the board. And at this point, this completes my director's report, but I'll be glad to answer any questions you have from the district.
Thank you, Mr. Stromberger. Any questions for our director regarding the district update? Ms. Odell, I would like to ask, have you spoken to Ms. Goff?
I have not, but Mr. Wilson did today.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, speak to her. Just you have set the bar high, so just make sure everybody's prepared coming in. You know, high
She
bar,
is.
high standard. All right, great.
She's one of the best.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to that. And thank you for being here tonight as well. And do you have a student report for tonight?
I do. Do you want to hear it?
Well, I'll tell you what.
I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it or not because I didn't see it.
Well, it wasn't on the agenda because I'll be honest with you, it wasn't 100% that you'd be here tonight, so I apologize. Board members, if you're okay with, if you have any other questions for our director, let's address those. But would you mind if we insert our student report as a part of the district update? All right, awesome. So Ms. Odell, we'll recognize you for a student update.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. It is hard to believe that we are already back into another school year. After a really busy summer, it's been exciting to see our schools come back to life with students and teachers returning, getting settled into new classes, and beginning another year together. These first few weeks of school are always full of excitement as everyone gets back into a routine and starts looking ahead to what the new school year will bring. For our seniors, this year is especially exciting because there's a lot to look forward to. Many seniors have already completed their Tennessee Promise applications, which is an important first step as they begin preparing for life after high school. A lot of students are also starting to think seriously about their college application process, and it is exciting to see them beginning to make plans for their future and taking steps to reach goals after graduation. At the same time, there's a lot happening for students throughout the school. Picture Day's tomorrow, which is always one of those events that makes it feel like the school year is officially underway. Club signups are also beginning, giving students the opportunity to find organizations that match their interests and become more involved in their school community. Whether students are interested in academics, athletics, service, leadership, or other activities, there are many opportunities for them to get involved and make the most of their time in school. As we move further into the school year, I think one of the most exciting things will be watching students become more involved and seeing all of the activities, events, and traditions begin to take place. The beginning of the year sets the tone for everything that comes afterward, and it has been encouraging to see so much enthusiasm from students and teachers already. Overall, it's been a really great start to the school year, and there's a lot ahead for our students, from new clubs and leadership opportunities to college applications, project grad, and preparing for life after high school. I'm excited to continue representing our students alongside Ainsley and to see all that they accomplish throughout this school year. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Ms. Odell. Board members have any questions for student representative? All right. Well, thank you for that report, and glad to hear that everything's getting off to a good start at the high school. All right. If nothing else on our district update, then we'll move over to policy. So, board members, I sent to you a policy draft that I'd like for you to consider tonight. One that came up with. There's no statute that's tied to this, other than just something I'd like for us to consider. And it's a policy that I've titled Foundation Policy, and I do believe we have the authority to bring forth a policy like this because of our policy number 1700, which supports strategies for students procedures and strategies regarding students and focus on being responsible citizens. Then also instructional goals as noted in 4100. And just part of the instructional services, and there's, looking through that policy, I do think this applies to lines 2, 7, 8, and 9. The whole intent of this, board members, is I think that we would be doing our students and our community a service if we posted in a prominent manner the following documents: the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Ten Commandments. As I feel those documents are the foundation for their basis of morality and virtue. I think are the foundations of freedom and liberty, and I think those documents express that, and those should be made sure that that's first and foremost in our students, in our communities, to realizing that. So I drafted a policy there, and so our director, in his wisdom, said we need to probably run that by policy experts, and so he did. And so there has been precedence in other districts where display of historical documents have been considered and policy adopted, and so an example of that was included in your packet for tonight as well. And so I want to pause here and give you the opportunity to ask questions, discuss your thoughts on this, and then if you want to take up any action on it, then we can do that.
So in your policy, you're talking about displaying the entire document, where by statute, we don't have to display the entire document, but just like the preamble, for example. And so you're imagining a display with these historical documents, and that would be there for a commemoration. And there is a typo on your draft, just so you know.
Yeah,
It
I
is-
think I corrected that, but after you brought that to my attention.
Thank you. Because we're creating a memorial, basically, where students, community, anyone can go by in this respectful manner and see these historical documents in their entirety. Is that my understanding?
That could be an option. Okay, that was just a starting point for me. Whether it's the entire document, there are examples where this has been done where it is not it is only the I think have drafted here the first and second sentence of the preamble to the Declaration of Independence and the preamble to the Constitution, and then regarding the text required for the Ten Commandments, state statute has specified what that is, so there's not any latitude there, but there is some latitude on the other documents. A policy, the way I present it, might have been a little bit too specific, but I was trying to communicate the idea and thought process behind it. So that's the reason why we have deliberation on what policy actually, how the policy should actually read.
I think TSBA's done a good job with, providing us with the required text for the Ten Commandments. I think there's some liberty, like you said, for us on the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. I mean, those are both lengthy documents and would take up maybe a couple of different spots. And they've even went so far as to tell us what font and how big it can be. And I think, we rely on TSBA to do a lot of, they do all of our policy, and I think those folks are a lot smarter in a lot of these things than we are, in a lot of aspects. And I think they listen well, but they're in the depths of it every day, and I like their form of it. Not that I don't like your form of it. I like some of the things that you have in there, Mr. Young, and I think you did a good job, and I appreciate you putting that together. So, yeah, I'm all for our kids learning about freedom and liberty and the mortality and the virtue of life and what it's like to be a good citizen and a good Christian and in a respectful manner to everybody. So, yeah, this is a great program.
So one of the things that, and there's a little bit more intent behind why I would bring this up. It's America's celebrating 250 years, American independence this year. And the thought behind the commemoration on some type of ongoing basis would be that 50 years from now, somebody could pull evidence from our district, things that have gone done, and present to a generation that present to those that are probably starting kindergarten now, be my age when they, when 300 comes around, be my age. I was like, that would be interesting if you had something, if we did something to say, do this over a period of time. They have something in the future that they could reflect back on. They maybe even, have something where they could look back and see their involvement in that. But certainly it'd be something way that you could pass forward something to the community in the future.
Mr. Chair, personally, I don't have a big problem with the way you've written the policy that includes the full document of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Ten Commandments. I would like to discuss what does the commemorations truly mean, to give some guidance to the schools, and maybe that's something the director would do. I'm thinking if we're looking at 50 years down the road, there's got to be some uniformity to that, so it makes sense and is even more impactful. And that doesn't have to be decided or put in the policy, but just some level of understanding what are we trying to accomplish there.
You need some scope. I understand, some guidance. You would like to speak to that, if that's even possible?
Yes, I'm certainly, as a history teacher myself, I'm excited about the opportunity to display these documents and these words. I do want to point out that Public Chapter 924, as it's written, doesn't give boards extreme liberty in all these areas. It specifically says that local boards of education and public charter school governing bodies, as defined in 4913-104, may allow schools in the LEA or public charter school, as applicable, to display the Ten Commandments, the first sentence of the second paragraph of the preamble to the Declaration of Independence, and the preamble to the Constitution in a prominent location, so on. So it does limit you to those particular items, and just want to make sure the board is aware of that. But I'm certainly encouraged and excited about the opportunity to present those and to present those.
Thank you. I think that's where, in what I put together, not having that reference, that's the reason why I was maybe a little bit more broad in the full document. But to your, if we were going to adopt a policy like this to display these documents in our schools and places of learning, then we should obviously follow statute. If it's already been defined, that makes the policy easier. And I think the only thing then on that would be, going back to Mr. Smith's point, is that how much do you want to, in policy, because if we put it in policy, then the expectation is that it would be followed. How much do you want to tie down future generations to follow something? Obviously, policy can be changed, but it's the intent. How do you do something where you're saying, here in 2026, we want to try to do something that promotes education and awareness to our students for future generations and we somehow memorialize that in a way that creates records so that it could be used at special events, whether it's 275, 300, 325, 350. It was something to me I think would be historical relevance for our community at this time and the times throughout. So that's the thought.
So, Mr. Chairman, I know I had brought it up. We had talked about some of this stuff before, I think, when I first got on, and I think this is a great idea.
Chairman, I think it's a wonderful idea, and I definitely think it should be done.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion on this, but I don't know exactly how I want to word it. So, do we
All right,
want to
so
let AI do that?
Can I guide you? Can I guide you?
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to suggest that we take it step at a time, and then to your point, Mr. Smith, what do we do in the future? I think maybe take it a step one. Step one, we say, is our policy, we're going to have these these documents posted prominently in our building, in our places of education, our schools, per the public acts of 26. That is where we got that, isn't it? What was it? Chapter 924. That was the document. That was the law. That was the statute. Let me regain my thought. So what we want to do, we'd be considering adopting a policy to where we would be promoting the historical documents of the Declaration of Independence, the United States Constitution, and the Ten Commandments in line with Public Acts of 2026, chapter number 924. And that would be the standard of which we would follow. So we would take the policy adoption would be on first reading would be putting those displaying those prominently in our buildings of education. So that's how we would clean that up, Mr. McDonald.
All right. So whatever you said, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, so a motion on the floor to adopt a policy where the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution, and the Ten Commandments would be prominently displayed in per the standards identified in Public Acts of 2026, chapter number 924. I have a motion by Mr. McDonald. I have a second by Ms. Stone. Any further discussion?
I think it's relevant that it be known that TSBA has give us the language of everything that we need, the required text for the Ten Commandments. I mean, it lists them out, starting with "I am the Lord thy God" and goes all the way through coveting your neighbor's cattle and anything that's there. If you've read the Bible, you know what the Ten Commandments say. I'm excited to see these be presented into our schools. So that our kids can know that this is not only God's law, but it's also a historical document that was given to us some 2,000 years ago, and that's it's a great thing for us to stand on our liberty, stand on our freedom, stand on our beliefs, to be able to let other people know that we're not afraid to stand on the beliefs of what Jesus and what God has done for us in our lives. And I appreciate this board for standing on those purposes and standing on those promises that were made to us so many years ago.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. Other questions, comments? Historically, these documents have been proven to be effective in promotion of morality and virtue which is foundation of freedom and liberty. So regardless of faith, regardless of your belief, that is true, and it's historically been noted. So so with that, and this will be 4806, that would be our new policy. This would be it would be a new policy. It'll be a new policy, so we can't speak to what the number is, but it will be 4806. Oh, it is 4806. Okay. The number of the policy will be 4806. This will be a new policy. That's where we picked up. So, all right. So we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is public comment. A sign-up sheet was made available prior to the start of tonight's meeting for any member of the public wishing to speak to the board. That sign-up sheet was provided before our meeting started, and we do not have anybody that wishes to be recognized tonight. So that takes us to the next item on our agenda, and that's old business, and we have no old business items, and then we go into new business. As board members mentioned, we have several new business items that we need to address tonight. First is the approval of the 2027 fiscal year Title IX McKinney-Vento budget that was provided to you. It came in late, but we do need to get board approval on that. So, Mr. Drumberger, if you want to speak to that.
Yes, quickly, these are all important items that need to be voted on, but there's nothing controversial or anything earth-shattering in these extra add-ons for tonight. But the first of which is the McKinney-Vento grant money. This is money coming into our district in the amount of $94,307.92. This is for the 2 assistants that assist with homelessness in our district. They work through the FRC, through Ms. Stromberger's program, and are overseen by Brittany King in federal programs. And so Ms. King brings this budget to you tonight for approval so that we can equip our FRC to serve the homeless students in our district.
All right, so board members have been asked to approve the fiscal year 2027 Title IX budget as presented. Entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Smith. Have a second. Second, Ms. Fowler. Discussion?
Yeah, I just wonder, how many homeless students do we have in White County?
Of course, you know, we always have to mark that means, you know, families that are doubled up, that are living 2, 3 families in a household qualify under that definition. And we do have some legitimate students that are traditional homeless as well. So those are the families, students and families that these liaisons work with.
Any other questions? Discussion? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the Title IX budget signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item, we have a request from the White County High School soccer team to attend a tournament in Gatlinburg in March. The urgency behind this is they want to get room reservations nailed down before and get that behind them. So that has received proper approval from the authorities required for such trips. So this time I'd entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Ms. Fowler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. McDonald. Any discussion for the high school soccer team's travel request?
One clarification. The dates of the trip are dated 26. They probably should be 27. Just want to get that in the record.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Drumberger, could you have them go back and
Yes, that
address
coach's parents didn't teach him very well, and we'll work with that family to get
Well, evidently
better
you've got
dates.
2 administrators that need to be looked at too, because they signed off on it as well.
He did. Touche.
You've got to read the document and then sign it.
Touche. Thank you.
It may be genetic, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Next item is a field trip request, travel form. This is for the Ayers Foundation for a campus visit to Berea College in Kentucky. And so that has also been requested that take place in month of November of this year. That does appear to have proper authority administrative review. So this time I'd entertain a motion for approval of the Ayers Scholars Travel request.
So move.
Motion by Mr. McDonald. Have a second? Second by Ms. Fowler. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item considered was the memorandum of understanding. And this is for a provision of providing telehealth services to students. So I'm going to let Mr. Dromberger speak a little bit more to that, the detail of that. It sounds like something very positive for the students in our district.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have, Marcy Kennard, our nursing coordinator, has worked with the Dolly Parton Children's Hospital in East Tennessee to secure an opportunity for our students and their families to participate in some telehealth opportunities. And so what this agreement will do is provide equipment. It's really interesting technology in which they telehealth with or teleconnect with the medical providers in East Tennessee, an actual doctor. They see them, but they have devices that you put it on your head and it reads your temperature. You put it on your wrist and it does your blood pressure. You put it on your heart and they can listen to it like a stethoscope. And so they can provide doctoring services, physician services to our families that qualify. And so our hope is that we'll get more of these units as we move forward and be able to use them at more schools. It's mobile. We can take it to different schools if we have specific needs, but it'll probably stay in, well, I don't know sure where she's going to deploy it at first, but it's the first of what we hope will be many of these devices that will be able to provide services to our families. It also will help our staff that will be able to be seen and not have to leave work and pay a provider and leave for a certain amount of time, so they could just quickly go and get a telehealth visit. So we think it's an interesting opportunity and one that we hope will grow in the future.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stromberger. Any questions about what we're being asked to consider tonight?
Any out-of-pocket costs for the district?
No, there's not any out-of-pocket cost for the district. They work with the individual insurance groups to cover their costs.
Okay.
How was this hospital chosen?
They chose us. They sought the opportunity to partner with us. We applied, I think, for a number of different units. We just received one, but the hope is once we get one established and successful, then the opportunity will be open for more.
Any other questions regarding the MOU? Okay, hearing none, then I'd entertain a motion for approval of the MOU with telehealth services with the Dolly Parton Children's Hospital.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Douglas. To have a second? Second, Ms. Officer. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item is another field trip request for the White County Choir to attend a national festival of states in Chicago, Illinois, the month of May, for the choir. This submission has has proper administrative approvals, and information was provided provided in your electronic packet. If you have any questions, so give you the opportunity to review that. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion for approval of the choir's trip to Chicago.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. McDonald. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item is, it's been submitted to us to approve the disposal of an unusable item per policy 24031. This was, we have a sped bus. It was purchased in 2006. That it's out of usable service per our maintenance director. So it has been approved by administration, and so this is an item that we have been asked to approve for disposal. So I'd entertain a motion for approval if there's no questions or comments.
Does this mean we'll try to sell it or just sell it? Okay.
Yeah.
Gov deals, is that where this would go through?
Yes, we have to auction all of our properties over $500, I believe, have to be auctioned. So this would go to Gov Deals is usually the avenue we use to dispose of our buses.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Douglas. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Next item is, as we noted, board members, in our work session, policies 4301 and 6303. Those were omitted from the second reading policies from the consent agenda, item B1, BI1, and that is that was regard to public chapter. Was it 923? I wrote it down.
It's 938.
I'm sorry.
Is it 938? Is that the
The
bottom?
one 938 regarding where it specified the biological gender of the student in the policy as a reference. So those would be approved second reading as the ones that we approved in our consent. So this time I would make a motion to approve those on second reading.
Are you making that motion?
I'm asking for a motion.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you were making. So moved.
Motion by Mr. McDonald. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Fowler. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Next item on our agenda is school board spotlight. We typically each meeting we have a spotlight, and that has usually as part of our throughout our district. We invite schools to come in, and they will present students that they want to recognize for the scope and the focus we have as a district. And so since we're not quite far enough into the school year to have that done, we're going to use this opportunity tonight to do some recognition, because tonight is a night that is a little different. And so we want to take this time to represent make some recognition to those that have served. Mr. Smith, as Vice Chair, I would like to have you assist when called upon. So just prepare you for that. First, want to. Unable to attend tonight, but we do want to recognize Miss Isabella Sackett. Ms. Sackett joined us in fall of 2024 as a recommendation for the Junior Student Representative Board Member, and she served in this capacity for 2 terms, for the 24 and 25 year and the 25 and 26 year. During her time, she faithfully upheld her duties as a representative and provided highlights and updates from the high school during the student representative portion of our meeting. She always provided fresh perspective on matters of the board, our district, and her experience as a student. She's represented our district at numerous events in various capacities. She served, being a member of the SCOPE team that attended the annual conference hosted by TSBA this past year that exposes students to public service and manners pertaining to public education. She's excelled in her academics and her extracurricular activities over the course of her time at White County High School, and she truly embodies the character, virtues, and work ethics of what makes this community and country great. So tonight, just on behalf of the board, we want to recognize Ms. Sackett. We have a plaque for her that we will make sure that she receives, and wish her the best in her journey on at Carson Newman this fall. So if you would, hand for Ms. Sackett. So next we have Mr. Smith, if you would. We've got some plaques here if you come up, and I would ask if I ever call your name. Actually, I'm just going to go on and do it now we're not cumbersome. If Ms. Stone, Ms. Fowler, and Mr. McDonald each come forward. It's right over there. Yeah. Go over to the. Yeah, we'll just come. I just want you to come right up here for just a moment. Okay, right here is fine. So first, I'll have to begin with Miss Sherry Stone. Miss Sherry Stone has served us since 2022, representing District 6. And Ms. Stone, she came on the board, and one of the things that I truly appreciate about Ms. Stone is her passion for her community, for this county, and her love for kids. And so Ms. Stone has dedicated her service to our district over this time, and she has been a big part of helping us as a board and a district to think about the decisions that we're making, the actions we're taking, and then proceed with what is best for the district. And so, Ms. Stone, it's been a pleasure to serve with you, and thank you for devoting your time to White County Board of Education and our school system. And I'm going to give each of you the opportunity, so don't get too comfortable. I'm going to give each of you the opportunity to grab a microphone and speak. Yeah, this is your night. Next, Ms. Tracy Fowler. Ms. Tracy Fowler she started her service to the board in September of 2023, where she was actually appointed by the county commission to serve in the position of the late Mr. Kenneth Robinson. And she had big shoes to fill because Mr. Robinson served the district long, and he was a stalwart of the board for many years. But Ms. Fowler has come in and served amazing. Again, coming in with demonstrating her love for her community and her representation of her district and Northfield. I know she's spent countless amounts of hours going and attending Northfield and supporting the teachers and administrators and loving on the students there. And so just so much appreciate her and her service to this board and to the county and the time that she devoted. She has true best interest of the students and our district at heart. And so Ms. Fowler is graduating on to the next level and be servicing us in our community as county commissioner. So we want to congratulate her on her success there and wish her the best. Know she's going to do a great job in that role. So Ms. Tracy Fowler, thank you for your service to our district. So next is want to recognize Mr. Jason McDonald. Mr. Jason McDonald began serving the White County school system in 2014, representing District 5. Mr. McDonald will have served 3 terms, a total of 12 years, and Mr. McDonald, it's been a pleasure to see your growth over that period of time. He has served as a regular member, but he's also served in officer's position here on the board. Mr. McDonald has been a part of a lot of significant changes to the district. He has also served in various capacities outside, representing our county and our community well. He has been a stalwart of this board. He has been someone that has grasped the vision and the purpose of what it means to serve on the Board of Education and to perform and serve our community. And so, Mr. McDonald, we appreciate you, appreciate your time and effort, appreciate the decisions that you've had to make and your wisdom that you put behind that. So, want to recognize you and thank you at this time. So if y'all sat down, don't get too comfortable. Would you go up and we could get a picture? Okay, you're gonna do after meeting. Okay, that'll be great. No, I don't mind. I don't mind. That's great. Good idea. As I'm trying to. So one other thing I'd like to do, and I think this is. A special recognition is in order tonight. Mr. McDonald, I want to recognize that it shouldn't go unnoticed, but his tireless service to the board and representing our county, not just in the time that he has dedicated to this board here at the local area, but he has also gone on and participated in representing White County at the various different levels of TSBA. If I'm not mistaken, started back in, if I have the numbers right, 19. You started serving on the district, the TSBA district, Upper Cumberland district as an officer in that role, which ultimately led him to moving into the state level of TSBA, where he just last year finished up the term as TSBA president, starting from November 24, November 25, running November 24, running through November. Is that not? Okay, January 1. We just come together in November but the term actually starts. Okay, so that's 2025 as TSB president. But you also had that was not just 1 year. You had to serve on the board for several years prior to that, leading up to being able to go from vice president to president. That's unique because. Don't think that anybody else in White County has ever served in that capacity, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know if anybody else ever will. And if they do, I wish them luck, but I want them to know they have big shoes to fill, because Mr. McDonald certainly did an outstanding job at that. When I think of Mr. McDonald, I think of him as a standard for representing White County community service and the way he represents our district and our schools. I think Mr. McDonald is White County through and through. And I think it's been that way since he was knee-high to a grasshopper. And so I just so much appreciate him in his service and his representing White County. And so he's been a part of a lot of great things that have been going on with this district, as well as Ms. Fowler and Ms. Stone. And so I appreciate you all. Mr. McDonald, thank you for the extra service that you provided to our district. So with that, I want to present you with the Golden Bell. So, board members, Ms. Stone, Ms. Fowler, Mr. McDonald, I will yield some time to you if you feel free to share some comments if you like. There's no pressure.
Chivalry's not dead. Ladies, go first.
You want to go? You
I just want to say thank you to y'all for taking me under your wing when I first come in, because I had no clue what I was doing, and I probably still don't halfway know sometimes. But Ashley Russ, she is the bomb, I'm just saying, because she has saved me more than once. We are very lucky to have her, and I know she gets embarrassed. And whoever sits right here, be ready to have a pencil and a notebook, because you have to take notes for Bob, because he will look at your notes when you get to the end, so he knows exactly what he's saying. But I'm going to miss y'all, and I said I wasn't going to cry, because yes, I am a crier, but I'll be back to see you. That's all.
And we look forward to seeing you.
I want to say I appreciate y'all working with me, and it's been an honor to be on this board, and I appreciate all the good camaraderie. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stone.
You know I'm not going to leave without saying something, right? I mean,
got all-
we've
we
already
got all-
been
we got
here
all night.
2 hours and 15 minutes. We may be
got all
another
hour.
No, I want to first thank the citizens of White County for allowing me to be a part of this. It's been truly an honor. Donna Jones called me in 2014 and said, "Hey, I'm not running for the school board again. You've always said you want to be involved, and now's your time." And put my name in the hat, ran and got elected, and did it 2 more times. And it's been truly an honor to be able to serve not only the students. I thought about it, the kindergartners that started last year's class started school the year I started serving on the board. So it was pretty cool to stand at graduation and know that those students started kindergarten the year that I started serving on this board. And so that was an interesting thing. We saw lots of changes in White County, and I want to believe that this board and this district is better off now than it was when I first came on. Then that's not a slap to any of those folks that I served, because there are some great folks that I served with. These 2 men's name that are on this board right here, Mr. Robinson and Mr. McBride, were mentors to me. Miss those guys tremendously. I still remember where I was at when we got the phone call about Mr. Robinson passing away, and it broke my heart to know that I wasn't going to have him here beside me to help get me through. Because when Mr. Robinson spoke, he's like E.F. Hutton. Everybody listened because he wasn't a man of many words, but when he talked, everybody listened, and I learned a lot from him. Ed Cantrell was another one that I learned from. I've been thinking about this a lot for the last week, so just bear with me. Ed Cantrell's father, Mr. Ed, Big Ed, told me when I first came on the board, just like he told him, he said, "Son, I'm going to tell you, go in for the first 3 to 5 months that you're on the board, shut your mouth and listen and learn. And then once you've got an idea of what's going on, then you can start talking." And I hope I did that, and I hope I did that well. It's just been an honor to be able to serve with folks like you on this board, and you know, you go back and you look at Richard and you look at Janet Webb and Mr. Howard and the things that we went through with all of those different dynamics on that board, and it's been a true honor. It's been an honor to serve this county, not only here, but as you said, when I started with TSBA in 2019 as the Upper Cumberland District Director, you know, I served one 3-year term with them on that, started a second, and then got elected onto their officer board and went through that process. And to be able to say that I was the very first TSBA president from White County was something that I'm proud of. I'm very proud of that, and I hope and pray I did a good job, and I hope that White County was represented well with the things that I tried to do. That is an organization that is very well run, and they provide us with all the tools and the things that you see here tonight to make this board run the way it does. So proud of this district, so proud of the leadership and Mr. Drombarger was fortunate enough to be on the board that hired him as our director, and I think we made the right choice. And I not everybody's going to agree with me on that, and he and I have not agreed on everything together. But you know what? It wouldn't be right if we did agree on everything, because then it would be no fun. But I do appreciate the opportunity to be able to serve this county and to be able to look back over the last 12 years and know that we've made some differences in the kids, and the growth that we've seen in our district, going from where we were to where being a top performing district across the state, and other districts coming and looking at what we're doing and how we're doing it. From our bus shed having 100% pass rate for years and years on end, that's amazing. Not every district does that. So that's a testament to the leadership that we have here, and just to be a small part of that just makes me feel blessed. So I appreciate everything. And I'm not going to cry, I promise you I'm not.
All right. Again, thank you for your service, and appreciate your contributions to helping get our district, and again, what I say is hottest district in the state, and we've got the data to prove it. So with that being said, that leads us to the next item on our agenda, and that's chairman's comments. So before I get that, I apologize if I forget before I miss. The outgoing members, we're sad to see you go, and wish you the best, but are looking forward to our new members, and we want to recognize them and congratulate them. So coming in and if I'm not sure if you're here tonight, please stand. But from District 5, Mr. Jerry Kelsey. From District 6, Ms. Shandell Thorpe, and from District 7, Mr. Brian Liner. If you're here, please.
Over here.
Yeah, all right. Congratulations. Appreciate your willingness to serve, and I look forward to working with you as we start this new term. So with that, I will lead then to the chairman's comments. Next school board meeting will be September 10th, 2026 here at the Board of Education. Work session will begin at 5 o'clock. Our regular board meeting will be at 6. With that, I would entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion by Mr. McDonald, second by Ms. Fowler. All those in favor,